Humanity has been driven from Earth, but now it's time to take it back. Join the Reconquest and fight the Scourge on the Drop Zone Commander Hub at beastsofwar.com. The new Flames of War 4th edition brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to beastsofwar.com to get the latest in news, tactics and tutorials.
Hello everybody, I am joined by Andrew from Gunmeister Games, and today we are talking a little bit about the background and the creation for, I'm sure you can guess, Judgement. Andrew, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
You came all the way from sunny Australia.
I did, yes. I've been on vacation in Wales and the south of England and made the trip to Northern Ireland, so it's been great.
Yeah, okay, so let's get stuck straight into it. So, very quickly, give us a brief overview of what Judgement is, just for everybody at home.
So Judgement is a 54mm scale skirmish game. It's been inspired by the MOBA genre, so it's like a hero brawler version of the MOBA. Tabletop, three heroes versus three heroes, or 5 versus 5, and it's a 2-player game.
I see. Okay, now, first things first. I always love talking to people about how they get into gaming and the actual road to creation of a game, because this is your first game, yeah?
First game I've written, yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, what was your inspiration? What actually got you into it?
So I played miniature gaming for a long time. I'm talking like 20-something years.
Okay.
Very early Warhammer Fantasy player, War Machine Hordes, all the way through these all different games. I've been a big Dungeons and Dragons player, Magic the Gathering. So always been involved in games, and I think it got to the point where I have a mathematics background. I'm very interested in the mathematics of games as well. Yep. And I just thought, yeah, it'd be cool to sort of write a game. When you start, you don't know where it's going to end, I guess. I didn't have grand plans, but we've certainly come probably further than I thought we would have at the start, to be fair.
Well, you came to Kickstarter for the first run and went, you know, I kind of like this. I kind of think it looks cool. I hope people look at it and think it looks cool too. Yeah,
so we had, there's a few of us collaborating at the beginning, and then people sort of drop off and come in at different times. And then I put up a bit of money early to get a few illustrations just to see and then it was a lot of learning curve. I didn't realize how you illustration, then you get a sculpt, then you get a 3D print, and you know all that sort of. And I had no real context in that side of the industry, so I had enough contacts to get people to help me out and sort of talk me through the process, which was great. And it sort of grew. And like you said, we thought about let's do the first Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work, I was happy to go. Okay, it didn't work, but it succeeded. And then we've done the second one, and that succeeded. And yeah, away we go.
Now, a little background for the world itself. What sort of a world are we in here? Because I'm seeing a bit of a mixture here. So I'm seeing some really nice classical fantasy stuff on the tabletop. I'm also seeing some sort of more steampunky feel stuff. Is that a deliberate thing? Is that something that's core into the background?
Yeah, so being MOBA inspired as well is one of the reasons, because MOBA tends to have all these cool things where a guy with a big sword fighting a guy with a gun, and they mix all these different worlds. So in this particular, in Judgment's world, we've got a mortal realm that is a fantasy realm, and the heroes are transported to the shadow plane, the plane of shadow, to fight these battles by demigods. So as a player of Judgement, you represent one of the demigods, and you're bringing the heroes, mortal heroes, from their home plane to the shadow plane to fight on your behalf.
I see. So insert evil laugh here.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So the thing about the shadow plane is time doesn't operate the same as the mortal plane, so you have different time rifts. And over the course of the creation of the game, we've introduced different timelines. We've got 3 at the moment. The classic fantasy, which is the vast majority of the range. We've got a World War II sort of themey one, and then a futuristic one. So, and Wave 2 was where we started introducing these new timelines, which has been really cool.
Awesome. Now, for the MOBA brawler style, this is something that I want to be very clear for everybody at home, because I hear MOBA on tabletop, and I've played a few of them. They can get really, really grindy with the lane creeps. And it was something that worked really great in the digital format of the game. But whenever you try and translate it onto the tabletop, that sort of a style, you have to make some tweaks and adjustments to keep that gameplay flowing. So how have you guys managed to actually manage that? Yeah,
so I agree 100% what you're saying. And I think there's 2 titles in the computer MOBA's genre that sort of introduced what Judgment's more like. One was sort of Heroes of the Storm, where it got to the action very quickly, and that was their big claim to fame was you're not going to have a half an hour laning phase, you're going to fight heroes within the first few minutes. And then Overwatch sort of took it to the next level and just went, okay, we're just going to brawl from the first minute. And I think Judgement started before Overwatch came out, but over that period, and I sort of thought, well, let's just go the hero brawler and the jungle. They're the 2 aspects of the game I really like, playing Dota 2 or League of Legends, whatever it is. So sort of thinking, let's just do a hero brawl in the jungle. That's essentially what it is. And there's no minions or creeps, and no laning phase. So it's straight to the action. But a lot of the aspects have brought across, but you need to do tweaks. We don't have the towers and that sort of, but we have things that simulate that in the end to try to destroy the opponent's base.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, on the gaming surface itself, it's actually really cleverly designed the way you've actually built in some of the aspects of it, because, say we were playing Dota 2, you would run out into the forest to kill some NPC creeps and actually just gain some levels that way. You would maybe have a secret store out there as well, because I believe you've brought that into it as well. And so actually having the heroes level up and stuff through the game it really does bring that feel for me to the tabletop. The next thing is, why have you went for 54mm scale? Because these minis are big. Now, I will grab the biggest of them. So I believe this is Dunraka?
That's right, yep.
Okay, finally getting the names right.
He's a Minotaur Shaman.
Yeah, so this is our big guy here. He is huge. Compared to like a usual 28mm miniature, it's going to come up just above his knee. He's
a big hunk of resin, that dude.
Yeah.
So 54mm, it's a deliberate choice, and one thing we did from the start, even with the early collaborators when I was working with them, we thought, let's do this. With a lot of skirmish game, the reason because it's a skirmish game, it's a low model count game. So in the small version of the game, it's only 3 heroes on 3 heroes, and the big one's 5 versus 5.
Yeah.
With a lot of skirmish games, I find when you're walking around a tournament hall or anything like that, the miniatures get lost in the vastness of the arena they're fighting in. And I know 28mm, I mean, I've played 28mm all my life with the grand fantasy battles, but I always liked the big minis. When it came to making a small count, 54mm made a lot of sense. And when you're playing the game, you get that real sense of confinement where the heroes, they're not running ridiculous distances across the map compared to their scale. The scale of the game matches what you think it would do for the size of the model. And so we built the game. It was one of the beauties of knowing 54mm from the start, was it wasn't an afterthought. We built the game with that scale in mind. So the amount they move, how much they shoot is all sort of, it's a close combat. I've described it before as a brawl in the car park of a pub, right? So it's just a massive brawl, things going all over the place. That's the confined space you're actually fighting the battle in.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me, because there's sometimes whenever I'll be playing on a 6x4 or an 8x4 table, and I feel like this key unit that I wanted to do stuff with, there's nothing around there for you to do. I'm going to have to take time to get you across and get you back into the action. And it feels like it's taking way, way too long. I mean, like, we've already filmed a couple of games on camera. Not sure if they're out yet or if you're going to be seeing them in the future, but the sense I got from the gameplay was, even if I'm right at the edge of the board, I can still reach out and touch somebody. I can still look at something tactical I can do to actually be of use to my team. Which is really good.
And that's one of the things exactly what we wanted to do. Like, we wanted, and the heroes, like the MOBAs, they die and respawn. So if you respawned at your base and it took you 3 turns to get back to do anything, it would be a devastating change to the game. So that's sort of recycling back in. And with the 5 versus 5 version of the game, it's on a 3-foot map. The 3 versus 3 version is on a 2-foot map. So in the 3-foot map, there is a bit more of that sort of a skirmish fighting over here, and they're sort of influencing each other, but not completely together. But that's nice as well to have that. But you got 5 heroes instead of 3 to do that with.
Yeah, and it adds to the replayability of the game, which is something that I sometimes find with a self-contained game like this. You'll play it a few times and you'll lose the replayability. But with this, you guys have engineered it into the actual core system that there is pretty much infinite replayability with the game. Because I mean, like, you've got your neoprene mats, which are a lovely add-on that you can pick up, as well as the usual map that's in the board or in the game itself. But designed into that, you've actually designed into it different game scenarios and stuff, which actually lets you just instantly replay it with something completely different happening without having to make huge changes or pick up more stuff, which is great.
We had a unique challenge with the game, because with a lot of games where you have a blank neoprene mat, like I've got those in the past, just green or ice. With this game, elements respawn, so the monsters respawn in certain locations, so you need to know where they're marked. So to do that on a neoprene and measure every time where they go would be a real pain. So with the way that we've done it, we've got a system where there's 4, and on the small maps, there's 4 different scenarios printed on the map in faint grey. It doesn't interfere when you're not using them, but when you're using them, it tells you where to respawn things. And also, we've got the terrain fixed on the map as well, so you know where the terrain is. And on the big map, we've got 6 different maps, scenarios on it. So it really adds to, and they really change up the way works. What we played today, you got one with 2 souls pits, one with 1 soul pit. There's ones with 2 monsters, one with 3, and a couple with 1. So And then we've also got the pick and ban and the fact there's no factions built into the game.
Yeah, so
which really mixes it up.
That's back to that classic MOBA style of your team can be any one of these heroes.
Yeah.
If you like playing these heroes, grab them and go.
Exactly.
We've also got a draft mode in there.
Yeah.
Actually, something just occurred to me. You see the way you've actually designed your map? There's another game mode that I think you've missed.
What's that one?
Right, so basically changing the spawning location of the monster every time.
Yeah.
So if you've got 4 spawning locations for it, little number on that, roll a d4.
Each time it respawns. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's great, yeah.
So,
We've got there's so much scope for us to move forward with this because we've got control of all the elements of the game. So like you exactly said there, we've got the control over the way the things spawn. There is a map where the monster that spawns is randomized. So that's we've already got one of those maps. And we're going to bring out new neoprenes to that just mix these things up. And like the beauty of it is when you play, I mean, all the games I've ever played have been faction based, right? That's how games work, and it's great. And you fall in love with your race or faction and you play it. Yeah. This one's something we've got a bit different, and it's based on the MOBAs where you can do whatever you want. You like a miniature for whatever reason, you can take it. You think it's OP, you can include it. There's no complaining about someone else's faction because there's one faction that everyone uses, which is the entire hero pool. Yeah.
No, the other great thing is the way you've actually got this all laid out. For tournament play, this is incredibly self-contained for tournament play because you guys can essentially just grab a set of your neoprene mats and say to people, right, you're a tournament organizer, you want to run a tournament of this, how many players do you have? Okay, here's how many mats you're going to need. Everybody's playing on the same surface. The setup time is pretty much non-existent. You're just laying out the mats and saying, okay, everybody bring your miniatures, bring your 5 guys for a pick and ban tournament for today. We'll play pick and ban for the 4 scenarios on the 3 hero map, and we can get that knocked out in a day.
100%. And so there's a couple of fundamental things that we originally, when we first started the whole thing, we thought, what are the things we want to tick off? And organised play was definitely one of them. Yeah. And like people ask about, I've got no 54mm terrain. As you know, with the game, you don't need to have a terrain. It's a brawling. We have a couple of little like fences or forest or trees, and you can play. And so for an organizer, as you said, you put the mats out. You just say, we're doing map 1 in this one. Everyone just puts their things on map 1 and they play. Like it's and there's no in between rounds. It's just so easy. Yep.
And if you're wanting to add those sort of 3D terrain elements, there's nothing to stop you actually just grabbing a couple of trees or a fence or a cart to mark a shrine. Yeah. And it lets you rock and roll.
And people online are making fantastic creations of their effigies customizing them. And we've got plans to bring out a pack that will have 2 effigies, 2 shrines and stuff in it. But for the time being, like you said yesterday, we just grabbed different things that we could use and it worked fine.
Yeah, it worked beautifully. Now, one other thing that you guys made as an extra. So we've talked about the neoprene mats. Those are like an add-on that people can grab after they've got the core game. There's a little box sitting in front of me here. Give it here. This is one of the most beautiful things you will ever see. So... me, I love my additional extras. I love stuff that makes me feel my game is just that little bit nicer, you know. And one thing that I've always said is, you see, if I have a board game or something that uses like coins and stuff, I love having metal coins. Yeah. You guys went a step further. You guys have went for these. So this is Judgement. It's metal.
It is.
And inside, you have these beautiful metal dice, which are the custom dice for the game. Yeah. Now, I'm going to give these a little bit of a roll. Actually, that's a pretty good roll.
Yeah. You've got fire or poison there from a couple of the heroes.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, so the way this works on the actual thing is this is a hit, this is a wild card, and this is for like your special abilities.
Combat maneuvers, special maneuvers.
And you've got a couple of blank sides on there if something goes wrong. Yeah. I love the style of these. I love that little bit of blue that you've worked into them, and the fact that they come in a gorgeous little magnetic tray.
So we made these for our Wave 2 Kickstarter. In fact, underneath the cover, they're uniquely numbered and limited edition that we did for the Wave 2 Kickstarter. So these have been available.
This is one of 110.
Yeah, they've been available as an add-on.
I'm guessing this is your personal one?
It is, yeah. It's actually the first one, the only one in existence, but I just got an email this morning that the run's been completed, so they're on its way. So people have been adding them on for the Kickstarter, which has been fantastic. But this idea is a great one. I think we'll be doing this in the future for different cons. Yeah. We might do a select run for whatever UK next year.
Oh, UK Games Expo?
Game Expo, yeah. So we might do a run there. So that's the kind of idea what we're doing. But it's a company called Level Up Dice. They've been really good. So yeah.
Well, it's absolutely gorgeous work. I have to say that right now. Now, one of the other things you guys have done as well is a 2-player starter set. Now, you did one for Wave 1, yeah?
Yeah, we did one originally for Wave 1. In the original Kickstarter, it was just heroes. With the money from the Kickstarter, we funded a run of 2-player starter boxes. Now, they end up selling out, but instead of getting the same ones, we've learned a lot and we've re-engineered it. And so the new Wave 2 Kickstarter has an add-on. There's a 2-player starter box. It has 3 miniatures in it, 2 heroes and the neutral monster Gloom. Plus it has that fold-out board, all the dice, tokens, cards, everything you need, the measuring sticks to play. And it's got standees for 4 other heroes so you can actually play a game. Then you can pick and choose your heroes as you want from there.
No, that's nice, because it's essentially the self-contained full thing.
Everything you need to play.
You can start having some of the beautiful stuff to actually sit and paint and work at and play. And then you can just slowly grow into it.
And we've got, that's exactly what it is. We've got on our website print and play, so you can actually print off the standees for any of the heroes, all the rules. You saw the app yesterday. There's free apps for both Android and iOS that have all the cards, all the magical artifacts, all the monsters, all on there, and they're updated every 3 months with errata if we need it. So the game's really available. You can actually play it, you can print things off and play it right now.
Yeah, but really cool. That's the thing. You have the proper mindset for getting people into this game, because it's okay. I could play this game totally free, but look how pretty that is. Look at that little fire mage. Oh, she's so pretty. I want to paint that. That's exactly that want factor that you want to give people. And then now here's a question. So your movement templates and your token templates, do you do those as a separate pack that people can buy in? Because if say they just want to grab the neoprene mat, start grabbing miniatures. That would be the thing that I would say they would maybe want to grab on top of that.
So all the components, all the components are sold separately as well. We've actually we did a plastic run of all the tokens, and we are currently working as well with a company in the US that we're going to do a whole run of the measuring widgets in plastic as well. So they'll all be available as well separately.
That's very, very, very cool. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the future, because we very briefly touched that you're wanting to go to UK Games Expo, but I know that your focus for the rest of this year is getting that Wave 2 Kickstarter finished up. Right. Now, what sort of stage is that at for anybody out there who has pledged on it?
So all the the manufacturing has started. All the sculpts are all finished. Everything's been done. The 2-player starter box and the heroes have started to be manufactured. We are aiming to get that out in October. We did it in 6 months last year, exactly the same. We got it out similar time frame. So this year we'll get it out, which is fantastic. And then we're going to have a fresh year next year with we have 28 heroes and 4 monsters, all finished, ready to go, which is fantastic. That gives you a really good scale for the game. And with the first wave, we had 13 heroes from memory, and even after a certain amount of time and that many heroes or permutations, you still the game feels it needs more heroes. With 28, there's so much variety, because every single player has 28 heroes to choose from. Which is fantastic.
No, there's a question. Say we both have a core set. We both have a full range of miniatures. Can we have duplicates of the miniatures on the tabletop? Yeah,
so the basic way the game works is you just bring any miniatures you want to play with and you play with them. So you have these duplicates. And this, with the thing about the shadow plane and time, it's how we explain it. So the 2 heroes were transported by the demigods, and the time rift makes it available so they both appear at the same time in the shadow plane. But the draft mode you mentioned, where you have all the miniatures in the middle and you draft, similar to the MOBAs, that's where you get a unique thing, because you're picking from the same pool. So if you and your mate have however miniatures you have, I think for the 3 versus 3 you need 10 miniatures, and for the 5 versus 5 you need a minimum of 14 to be able to do pick and ban drafting between the 2 players. It's the best format. I mean, our masters are going to be that sort of format where you'll have the miniatures and you'll draft. But people turn up. You can turn up with just your 3 minis and have no pick and ban if you want to play. That's fine. Game works fine. But most tournaments at the moment, you bring 5 minis for the 3 versus 3. So you ban 1 each, and then pick 3 from the remaining 4. And then for the 5 versus 5, you'll bring 7 minis. The same thing, ban 1 each, and then pick 5 from the remaining 6. So the good thing about this is you can't rely on a clutch play or combination. Over the course of the events that we've been running, you find people are doing really well. Others are talking in the break. What are they doing? What's their combo? And then that combo all of a sudden starts getting banned. Then you have tactics like, I'll bring a hero that I know people are going to ban, but my true warband doesn't actually need it. And that way you can suck out their ban to make sure you get what you need.
See, this is where you can start playing mind games with your opponents at tournaments, which is it's just fun. Because we've played a pick and ban game, and I was looking at one of your characters, and it was just like, okay, he is big, he is scary. In fact, he is on the tabletop.
That's Skull Bone Skull.
So I was looking at this guy, and I was thinking, okay, oh my god, it's a big two-headed giant with a giant axe. Should I ban that? Because I mean, like, generally the way the miniatures look, if it looks big and scary
It is.
in the miniature form, it's big and scary in game. So you're pretty safe with what you're banning if you look at it and go, that looks scary. So even a new player isn't going to get totally ruined at a tournament where some people just, they know exactly what they're taking. You can just come as a new player and just have fun with it.
You can, and the game, even if there's a professional player and an amateur, they can't kill them in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of thing where you kill a particular character and the whole thing dies.
Yeah.
There is counterplay, there is time to come back in it, and it still always seems, it's a fun game because you're always in the game. You're not waiting, you're not watching your opponent do their entire turn. They're doing one hero, then you're back in the action doing your own hero. So you've always got, and even if you're a super duper player, you can't plan for everything because when you move one piece, the landscape changes because your opponent moves something. And if they're a new player, they might do something unexpected and it can throw out what you're doing.
Oh, there's an idea you could do. So you know the way you're doing pick and ban. You pick one, or you ban one, you pick three. Why not have it that if when a hero dies, you can actually change your hero whenever
do that
it
as well?
respawns? That could be a very fun house game.
That'd be really... These sort of house rules, we get people talking about them already.
Yeah.
Because it's... I mean, or you can, if a hero dies and yours dies, you can respawn the hero that your opponent lost. Like all these cool things where you can do stuff.
Fun.
Yeah, so there's all, because you're not locked into that faction sort of mode. It's quite cool that you could do that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it kind of drags you a little further into the Overwatch feel of thing. You know, a character's not working for you, he's died.
Yeah, you're swapping out in the game.
Yeah, let's try something else for a bit more utility. Is that working better?
Exactly. Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun.
We get a lot of inspiration from that sort of thing. You know, I mean. I was talking to you off camera yesterday about what video games I've been playing and stuff like that. And I said, I've been immersed in MOBAs for the last few years, just trying to get all the inspiration and picking the ideas. And not everything, as you said, a lot of the stuff doesn't come across to port to the tabletop that well. So you need to pick the elements that work. But I think we've got the game and it's in really good shape. But we're always, it's a working thing as we go. It's a living entity. So
well, your biggest beta test is whenever it goes to market.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and we've had like a lot of great. I mean, I also said to you we're just starting out on our journey. Like even we did the Wave 1 Kickstarter. Even then, the game's only been retailed for about 6 months, and it's only just dropped in the ocean in the UK and the US. So we've got a lot of growth in the game, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the best compliment I can pay this game, from my own perspective, is it's a game that gets out of its own way. Once you start playing, you're not having those speed bumps where you're stopping, checking rules the whole time. Everything is baked in. Everything is in front of you. It's all really easy to remember and see what's going on. And if you're an incredibly sneaky player, or if you're a new player coming to it, doing unexpected stuff, you're going to have tons of fun with it.
Yeah, it's good fun. So we've got like, heroes throwing other heroes around, pushing them into monsters so the monsters swarm. That's the other thing that we have, I don't think we talked about much, is that there's neutral models on the board. And all the maps, they're enemies to both heroes, just like neutral monster camps in the jungle of MOBAs. And they give you levels and drop loot and that kind of thing. And so that's, we've got one monster in the Wave 1, and then we've got 3 coming out in Wave 2. So this is Gloom, Shadowhound. And that was one element when we first introduced it, because a lot of these things are new to miniature gamers. And they're like, oh, neutral models, how does that work? But now it's so much fun. And as you saw yesterday, throwing people into monsters, and the monsters are really cool.
Well, I mean, like you've actually got one of my favorite miniatures on the table here. I was reaching for him, and I wonder if everybody can tell why I particularly like this hero.
It looks a little bit like you.
If I let my beard grow out for like 2 years and went and lived in a cave off the north coast of Ireland, I might look like that, hunting down werewolves and stuff all day. We have werewolves in Ireland, I think. That's
Brock, and he's apt at this point in the discussion because he's a monster slayer.
Exactly.
And he gets +1 damage versus the neutral monsters. So
exactly.
Really
well, cool. I mean, like, I would like to go deeper into the storyline and the background of the characters and the actual world, but I think I want to save that for another video.
Yep.
The last thing I want to touch on is which events next year, after you've got your Wave 2 clear, are you guys thinking of going off? Because that's whenever you're going to get your main interface with the public.
Yeah, so the 3 ones that we've penciled at this point are the UK Game Expo, Adepticon, which we went to this year as a guest for another company, and then hopefully Gen Con.
Oh.
So they're the 3. So even this year we've got a slight chance we might have some space on another person at the booth at Gen Con.
Ooh, right.
We're just not sure whether the 2-player starter box will be ready for it, because it's only in a couple of months. If it is, we'll be going. Otherwise, we'll be trying to do that next year. So that's the 3 we've penciled in. Depending on how we go, I mean, obviously we're in Australia, so we need to partner with people to be able to ship stuff to them beforehand, so we don't cart it from Australia. So Australia is a tough place to do this from. It's a very small market for starters. So while it's a good market to test things out and get things going, and we've got a great community growing there, we really need to sort of, all the big conventions are going to be overseas, and they're all a full day's travel and up on a plane.
Well, so, there's one I would suggest you have a look at, if you know any friends who are going there that you could partner up with, would be Essen over in Germany.
That's another one we've actually spoken. We've got a pretty good community in Germany, actually, of Judgement players. And they've talked about that as well for us next year as well.
Essen is a fantastic show, and I think it would really be perfect for your particular market, because Gen Con, it's huge.
It's just so big.
Absolutely huge. Trying to make noise at Gen Con whenever you're a new company, you gotta go big or go home. Coming to the UK Games Expo, my advice would be set up plenty of demo space.
It's a big demo convention, isn't it?
It is very much, you've got so many people from different walks of life. It's not the classical, I am a gamer, I am coming to grab stuff and go home. It's, I'm coming to UK Games Expo, I'm bringing my wife, my kids, I want us all to sit down, have fun, have a good day. If you're looking at Adepticon, I actually haven't been to, but
I've been a couple of times. Adepticon has been really good, but
now Essen is quite like UK Games Expo, but it's far more focused on self-contained box games. So your main skirmish games they have a little less presence there, but the big thing is the self-contained box games, and again, big demo space for it is definitely a good idea. All right, well,
the big one in Australia before we go is PAX. We went to PAX Melbourne last year, and we are in PAX Melbourne this year with our own stall.
I see.
Which is the biggest sort of, I mean, it's a lot of computer game focus, but there is a massive hall for, they call it analog games. And we're in there again this year.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, like here in Ireland, we don't have the population density to have like single cons. So I mean, like there's one coming up very soon for myself and John, which is QCon. So it's actually anime, board gaming, video gaming, and some other stuff.
So all together,
all mashed into one.
That's
we even have combat LARPers turn up to it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's mad.
My ribs still hurts from last year where I took an axe.
That's really good.
Well, Andrew, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks.
Everybody, tell you what, get your comments in below. What do you think of the look and style and feel of Judgement? Do you like the idea of that brawler MOBA format on the tabletop? Do you actually want to maybe grab some of these? Are you looking forward to seeing the guys at some events? Actually, if there's any events that we've maybe missed, feel free to suggest them below. And if you have any ideas for game modes, feel free to post them below as well. We'll move on, and we'll see you again very soon.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastsofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming let's plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe, and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.